Okay, guys, how is going? Nice to find you. So I always have this audio problem, but I hope you can hear me. Um, this episode is the number 13, if I'm not wrong, and I want to talk about this simulated world. Um, some episodes ago, I introduced you this test for creating a virtual world where the agents should operate. And basically, this is a open source piece of code you can find on Google using the keyword orangeable. And it's interesting and nice, and it works because you can use the keywords to move, but the problem is I'm trying here to add the new functionality, and the new functionality is to click to some coordinates. Let me reload the page. Click to some coordinates, and you see if I use the arrow keys it works perfectly. Instead, if I click, as always, when I try to modify the code made by someone else, there are problems. So basically, I've been struggling for a while, and this is the main reason why 1 year ago, at some point, I gave up. So first I spent half day trying to fix this problem, and I reached this point. Then I spent another half day trying to fix the bugs with no luck. And basically I gave up, and so a lot of things meanwhile happened. Few days ago, I decided to give it a try and to restart from zero. So basically, as you can imagine, in 1 year a lot of things changed, and one of the news we could say is certainly Claude Sonnet. Claude is very powerful. It's a large language model you can use for free with some limitation. If you pay, you can interact a bit more. And I decided to give it a try and to restart building everything from scratch. So now we got to the point where I build something, I would say, almost equivalent by simply interacting with the AI. So we can really say this, what you see here on the screen, is an example of a product one can build without coding, without really writing one single line of code. The system now is not working with the arrow keys, because the expectation is to click in one location and we want the avatar to go in that location. Okay. Now, to be more precise, I started building this with some iterations with ChatGPT 4.0, and but at some point I had some problem. There was a bug and I wasn't able to fix it. Then I moved on Claude, and in one shot Claude fixed the bug. It did more actually, because the truth is that the bug was overcome by simply introducing a pathfinding algorithm. So what we want to do is to click in a location, and we want the avatar to go to that location. Excuse me. And so now it is working basically. We have a system that is centering the view on the sprite. The sprite calculates the shortest path using the pathfind algorithm known as A star. This is very comfortable, and it is working for such a big grid. It works like a charm, and it's very quick. The system highlights all the cells one by one where the avatar will walk, and simply the avatar will get into the location. Why I wanted this? Because we don't want to control the avatar with the arrow key. We want to control our little sprite by giving a destination. Okay, imagine there's a AI agent. So basically this is Eve in our system, and the brain must tell Eve to go to specific coordinates, and Eve must go there. I strongly believe a space where different agents can interact collectively to be a key for a lot of things. I explained this at this point more than 1 year ago. As you can see, at a different level, of course, NVIDIA is doing the same. Of course, they have a simulated space with simulated physics, but this is not a place where we train robots how to walk and move around the world. Here we train different agents. We want to train different agents to interact like if they are a complex collective mind, and so the ability to go around, reach other agents, interact, and somehow perform operation, even something like physical operation, like we saw in some old interesting examples of application of AI. So basically I believe this to be extremely interesting, and so since I wasn't honestly able to recycle orangeable open source code, now I simply created a new one. As you see, the sprite is different, so I have to be precise about this because to be very honest, there's something not working, maybe, sorry. I believe my PC is a bit stuck. Here it is. So if you recall, this was the old sprite, and it is walking down, up, left and right, so 3 by 3. So for a while I tried to explain to Claude that I wanted a multiple agent system. So basically I wanted to move from that sprite layout to this sprite layout that is 3 by 4. And yes, to be honest, I wasn't able to explain Claude what I was trying to do. So many times when you interact with artificial intelligence, the model may appear extremely stupid or extremely smart, and this feeling depends very much on the quality of your question. So if your question is correct and logic and simple to be understood, very likely the LLM, stupid or not, may give you an answer. Okay. If instead you don't get an answer, it may really depend on the way you made the question. So the intelligence of the LLM depends very much on the intelligence of who is interacting with it. So I got to the point that I was depressed, and I simply entered the code and modified those 4 lines of code telling the coordinates of the sprites inside this image. So we moved from this version to the new one. And it was relatively easy. Of course, if you are not a developer, you wouldn't be able to do it. And all this video is to say that AI is getting really better, is extremely interesting. We will be soon able to do a lot of things without coding. I am impressed every day when I use it. I am also very often frustrated because after a while I don't know how to ask things, so my laziness is betrayed, and I have to open the code and modify it by myself, and it takes less time sometimes. So this is it. We anyway now have the basic simulated world we are looking for. We can give coordinates to the sprite and go to that coordinates very easily. So the next step will be to improve this a little bit, to add more functionalities, maybe to make it a multi-sprite system, multi-agent system. And at the same time will be to integrate it into Metropolis interface. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next episode.